Wedgewood. Appreciate you coming on. Congratulations. Awesome game out there. Fantastic start to the season for you and the Avs. I got Henrik Lundqvist here. He's got a question for you.
Yeah, Scott, congrats on a great start to the season. You look so comfortable, confident out there. You move so well. What can you tell us? What's the biggest reason for you in your game that helped you have this start to the season?
Oh, thanks, fellas. Honestly, just kind of being ahead of it. I think, as a goalie, I like to, check off in dead zones, and when there's passes, try and get as much information as I can on the weak side, what hand everybody is over the red line. If I got one-timer options, this lineup only had a few righties up front, and then an even split on the D zone. So every time they came up and just knowing who their fourth man was, we know I like to add that into the rush, and it just kind of gives me as much information as possible. It gives me an opportunity to play on the top of my crease, and then trust my adjustment shuffles, and then just go and read the game. I think I read the game at a high level, and it's been playing off with this defensive core in front of me that they do a good job kind of taking away some options, and it limits what teams can do and open up on me.
Wedgie, it's Biz here. It was a pleasure watching you play in Arizona, and been rooting for you ever since I saw you play there. You worked so hard. A bit of a journeyman. This is your fifth team. Finally found a home here. What makes this group so special?
I think it's just the will to win, the ability that you can win any night with obviously the superstars, but also the depth that's been huge for us. So I think as you come in here and, with Bedsy and what he kind of puts on the board and what's expected of us in the game plan, there's no questions of, what's going to happen out there for the most part. Obviously the hockey game is unpredictable, but we try and make it as predictable as we can with the structure and, obviously the plays we want to make. And, we got some great skaters that can make up some room on errors, and I think that's a huge thing that we can trust their skating. And then as skilled as we are, it's a great forechecking team. I think, almost every night we're running at, 40 to 50%, and that's a huge thing to get the puck back in the O-zone and then give those guys the opportunity to get the puck. So, all around very well-built team. I got to give credit to the staff here, and when I got in here, it was a good team, and they've been able to build it even better. So, fun to play behind them, and it's a lot of fun to watch what they can do out there.
Wedgie, I'd say it's been great watching, a lot of fun watching. I got a two-part question. The first part I want to touch on something you just said just now about the right-handed shots and left-handed shots. You go into every game kind of understanding and knowing who shoots right and who shoots left. And the other part of the question I have that I wanted to ask you is, what's easier for you, games or practices? Because you guys have so many skilled players in your team you face every single day in practice.
Yeah, it's actually one thing I asked our video coach to do when I got here. They'd put up like a lineup card and just have a little bit of a, not a rap sheet, but just like a few points on each guy. And I just asked them to add every hand to their names. If you got Carlson's lefty, Cutter Garcia's a lefty, Trouba's a right, like whatever the number is and whose it is, and then I look at that sheet and kind of try and memorize their lines and deep pairings. And you don't get it perfect obviously on rushes, but anytime we turn the puck over or anytime a line comes off the boards, I try and make it a habit to just be like, okay, I got four lefties and one righty, and the righty's the last guy out of the zone as a weak side D man. I have no one-timer options until they cross the plane, and then they set it up that way, and there's only one-timers for one side. So it's just one of those things that I've done over the years that I feel like it builds confidence on rushes. It's a very good rush team, so every time they pull up and you have a guy pull up and lay back, it's a one-timer option, and it's just paid dividends I think for me over the years. I've gotten smarter, and as a good skater, it's one thing that it kind of just has worked, and a little telltale that I like to add to my game. And then to your second part. It's hard. I mean, it makes you better. The speed that Nate comes at you with, Kale, those guys, Olsen's a hell of a shooter. Nelly's got obviously a lot of skill, and Choo-Choo's insane. So it's just, they can rip it. I've had a few bumps and bruises on just on the practice sheet, let alone in games. So, got out of there with a bruise on the lower body tonight, but no, it's a good team to be behind. You get better every day for sure.
Reggie, we should give you a headset when you're backing up. You could be an analyst the way that you break down the game. Jesus.
I would love it, Biz. I'm coming for your job when I'm done.
Take it. And I just had one more. Landeskog scored his first regular season goal since 2022 in this game. You got there last year. He was around a little bit, but not playing yet. What's the difference when he's in that locker room suiting up for your team?
It's calming. It's very calming. He talks, and he talks properly. It's not, he doesn't get up when you're down and just has to be that one time. He's always talking, and, you're on the road. It's a one-goal game or a tied game or whatever, and he's just the voice of reason, repeats what, we want to do as a team, and a little bit of, he remembers everything, I feel like, from what Betsy says in pre-scout and things like that. So it's just a calming voice, and obviously so well respected. You guys know the story, obviously, and everything he brings. But he's just a great human being. And joked after the game, it's nice to see him, play by the rules this year. He's got a couple taken back, and you just feel for him see him smile, and then he's just, did I get the balloon pop? But I don't think he's that statistical guy. But obviously, nice to get him on the board and probably get that monkey off his back and get him rolling for sure.
Scott, thanks so much for your time. Congrats.
Thanks,
awesome start to the season for you.
Great game.
Congrats.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Congrats.
fellas.